So the lesson here is we got to take a break. Our to-do list can wait, but our mental health cannot. Welcome back. We are in our emotional health series, and I love this. You know, I'm obsessed with increasing our emotional health, not just for us, but for the benefit of everyone that crosses our path. Today, I'm sharing 13 things that I wish someone had told me in my 20s. Why 13? Why not 20? Because I thought of 13 really good ones, and I could have added 7 more to make it 20, but they were mediocre. So we're going to say I have 13 things for you that I wish I knew in my 20s. Now, back in my 20s, I thought emotional health was for people who journaled in candlelight and lived in yoga pants. But hello, it's for everyone. And trust me, your emotional health matters way more than you think, whether you're 20 or you're 40 or you're 60. So grab your coffee or grab your tea, get comfy, and let's get into it. There's going to be chuckles, there's going to be truths and research. And there may even be a moment where you think, why didn't I know this sooner? I hope that's the kind of moment I can give you on this show. Okay, now let's dive in. Number 1, your emotions are messengers, not masters. In my 20s, I thought emotions were either something I needed to ignore or something to fix right away. But emotions are like little alarms. They're trying to tell you something important. Instead of freaking out or shoving them down, I've learned to ask myself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Now, fun fact that I've learned, your emotions are basically your body's version of a toddler. They're screaming louder the more you ignore them. Studies show that tuning into your feelings will help you make better decisions and manage stress like a pro. And that way, our emotions won't be like a screaming toddler at the end of the day trying to get a little attention, right? Number 2, you're allowed to feel all the feelings. There is no such thing as a bad emotion. God gave us all the emotions for a reason. Sadness, anger, even jealousy, they're all part of the human experience. We don't want to let those emotions drive. They don't need to be in the driver's seat, but we can have compassion for them and put them next to us and deal with them in that way. Emotional health isn't about avoiding hard feelings. It's about learning to sit with them without giving them the keys to the car and letting them drive. Now, research shows that naming your feelings, like literally saying, I feel annoyed, for instance, can make them less intense. It's like putting sunglasses on your emotions so they stop blinding you. Try it. I feel frustrated that my Wi-Fi is slower than a sloth today. See? Better already. Or whatever it is. Name it. Understand that it doesn't have to be in the driver's seat, and it will help it be less intense. Number 3, busyness is a Band-Aid, not a cure. You know how I feel about this. I wrote Breaking Busy in 2016, all about learning to break out of habits of busyness. I used to be the queen of staying busy to avoid my emotions that I didn't want to feel. But the thing that I learned is your feelings are like those emails you keep ignoring. They don't just go away, they pile up. We got to deal with them now, or they'll show up when we least expect it. Probably in a group meeting where everyone's already stressed. I talked about the Harvard study for happiness last week, but a Harvard study found that people who cram their schedules to avoid emotions end up with worse anxiety. So the lesson here is we got to take a break. Our to-do list can wait, but our mental health cannot. And no one ever said, wow, I'm so glad I was stressed about my inbox today. Email is always going to be there, but we can take breaks to manage our emotions and then go back to it fresh. Number 4, your thoughts shape your emotions. The way you think about something changes how you feel about it. For example, if you think, I'll never figure this out, you'll feel stuck. But if you say to yourself, I'm still learning, suddenly your stress level will drop. And it turns out the brain loves a good reframe. Studies show that positive thinking literally rewires your brain to feel less anxious. So yes, saying, I've got this in front of the mirror is less weird and more science-backed than you might think. Now let's talk about emotional health when it comes to relationships. Number 5, healthy relationships start with healthy you. In my 20s, I thought relationships were about finding the perfect husband and then the perfect friends to complete me. Thank you, Jerry Maguire, for that. But the truth is, we have to complete ourselves first. Healthy relationships start with knowing our worth and not settling for less than we deserve. In fact, studies show that people with strong self-esteem attract healthier relationships. So working on yourself will help you attract better friends and better relationships in general. Number 6, conflict is growth trying to happen. I used to avoid conflict like I'm trying to avoid the flu, okay? But conflict isn't always bad. It's how you grow. The key is to argue with kindness, not with the energy of someone angry in a drive-thru. You've all been behind the car where someone was angry in a drive-thru, right? Research says that couples who handle conflict with respect stay happier in the long run. So next time you're tempted to yell, try saying, I hear you, but I disagree. A little bonus, and you'll sound super mature, even if you're still a little mad, right? So I hear you, but I disagree. So you can still be mad, but you sound like you definitely have it under control. And it's gracious and it's loving to the other person. Number 7, boundaries are kind. They are not mean. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about protecting your emotional energy. Think about boundaries like a no shoes rule in your house. They're not there to be mean. They're there to keep things clean and healthy and keep your sons from tracking who knows what in. Maybe that's just me. But science agrees with this. People who set boundaries experience less burnout and more happiness. I want you to remember that saying no to others is sometimes saying yes to your peace. And your peace is way better than resentment. Trust me. Number 8, you are not responsible for other people's emotions. This one changed my life. You can love someone, you can support someone, and you can listen to them, but you're not the emotional fix-it person. Trying to take on someone else's feelings is like trying to carry their luggage through the airport. It's heavy and it's not yours. Psychologists call this emotional differentiation. Basically, it's being close to someone without letting their mood hijack yours. It's a fancy way of saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. Number 9, loneliness isn't about being alone. Some of my loneliest moments were when I was surrounded by people. Emotional health is about building connections where you feel truly seen and valued, not just filling your calendar with social events. And research has found that loneliness can be as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So if you're feeling disconnected, focus on the 2 or 3 deep, meaningful connections in your life, not scrolling Instagram and commenting cute on someone's baby pictures. Focus in where you are really valued. That will beat loneliness. Okay, next section, let's talk about emotional health and self-care lessons that I wish I had known in my 20s. Number 10, self-care is not selfish. Taking care of yourself isn't a luxury, it's a must. And no, self-care isn't just a fancy spa day. It is anything that helps you recharge, whether that's a walk or a nap or 5 minutes of silence where no one's asking you to get them snacks. Now, studies show that self-care lowers your stress hormones like cortisol. We talked about cortisol in the stress episode. If you haven't listened to that episode, please make sure that you listen to that one. It's really important. And next time someone gives you the side eye for taking a break, remind them that science says rest is productive. Number 11, rest is resistance. In a world that praises hustle, rest is like hitting the snooze button on society's expectations. It's not laziness, it's survival. And no, scrolling TikTok for 3 hours does not count as rest. Sorry, it still ramps up our emotions. It ramps up our stress hormones like cortisol. We have to really rest. In fact, sleep studies reveal that even one good night of rest improves emotional resilience by 30%. So the next time you're tempted to stay up late, remember, sleep isn't just for babies. It's for grown-ups who don't want to cry at work the next day. Number 12, gratitude shifts everything. When you're stuck in a negative loop, gratitude is your way out. It's not about pretending everything's fine. Sometimes everything is truly on fire. But it's about noticing the good stuff, even when life feels messy or everything is on fire. Studies show that writing 3 things you're grateful for every day can rewire your brain for happiness. So yes, gratitude journals are not just for Pinterest, they're science-backed mood boosters. And I've been giving you little hints about what's coming in the app. Of course, we have gratitude journals in there for you. We're going to have one journal that you can just keep an ongoing list of all the things that you're grateful for. Like, let's take it to 5,000. And then we'll have other guided journals where you can have a daily journal and just write what you're grateful for the day. I'm really excited about that. And last but not least, number 13, your body and your emotions are connected. Your feelings don't just live in your head, they're all over your body. That tightness in your chest when you're anxious, that's your body saying, hey, pay attention, take care of your body, right? For me, I went through very, very stressful, difficult years and messed up my stomach. My stomach hurt all the time, and that's where I felt the stress in my body. And if you listen to the episode with my health coach where we're talking about how we're resetting my gut and we're getting my microbiome under control, those years of stress, like 2015 through 2018 especially, those kind of messed me up physically, but it was all from emotions that I was feeling. So we want to pay attention to tightness in our back or tightness in our chest or stomach issues. That's our body's way of telling us to pay attention, and that we can't push down negative emotions and we can't ignore our emotions. We need to pay attention to it. A little trick, I've talked to you about breathing before. We're going to have lots of guided breathing exercises in the app, but deep breathing will activate the vagus nerve, which calms your nervous system down. So next time you're stressed, take a deep breath. You can do the parasympathetic sigh that I taught you on a previous episode. We'll link that episode in the show notes. But other things that calm your vagus nerve down and help calm down your nervous system, humming. Humming is a big one. Singing. So isn't it wonderful? I think about with worship music all the time that God gave us something to worship Him, but at the same time we're doing it, we're calming down our bodies. Like literally, we're calming our nervous system down and helping us bring things into alignment. God is so good and so brilliant and so smart. I love it. Now, there you have it. 13 things that I wish I knew about emotional health in my 20s. I mean, some of these I wish I learned in my 30s. These things have helped me grow and heal and honestly laugh at myself a little bit more. Emotional health isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. Now, I got some really good recommendations for you. The thing is, it's mid-January, and if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, you're really tired of it being cold. If you're like me, you're drinking a lot of green tea. I love green tea. It's so good for all the polyphenols. It's so good for health, but sometimes green tea gets a little old. So I have started, after I make my green tea, sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon in it and vanilla extract, and it makes it taste amazing again. I can't do the sweetener drops with stevia and things like that. My stomach still does not like that. So it needs to be natural for me. So if you're an all natural girl and you love tea and you want to mix it up a little bit, try a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla in there. The song that I've been listening to on repeat this week is Nothing I Hold On To from Jesus Co. And it is phenomenal. We will definitely link that in the show notes. I think you should put that on repeat too. It will calm down your nervous system. It'll calm down that vagus nerve. Again, God gave us such great ways to worship Him and to feel better at the same time. He's so good. And as always, I'm grateful for us that we get to spend this time together every week. You're investing in yourself, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your personal growth. It's not just for you. It benefits your family and your relationships and your community. I believe in the gifts that God has placed inside of you. I believe in your dreams, and I know you're making a difference in this world in ways that only you can. That is why you're here every week, learning and growing and building a healthier, stronger, more joyful life, one step at a time. God has uniquely created you to stand strong and bring something special to this world that no one else can. Let me remind you today that you're stronger than you think, you're smarter than you give yourself credit for, and you're braver than you feel in the hard moments. And the best part is you're just getting started. You're capable of incredible things because the Spirit of God lives in you. The dreams in your heart aren't there by accident. God placed them there, and He's giving you everything you need to live them out. It is my joy to get to coach you, to cheer you on, and remind you that with God, you've got what it takes. So keep stepping up, keep showing up and loving well, because you cannot break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. I got to scratch my nose. House. Is my face red where I scratched it? It feels red. That's okay. Let me do that. Let me do that again. Yeah. All good. That was a great one. I hope it was a great one. We'll see. I think it was a great one. And we're done. Cut.